Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.
Hello friends, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 2nd July 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles, mains related articles and prelims related articles. Let us take overview of all these and then we will discuss them one by one. First, relief and recompense. The editorial on page number 6, it talks about recently Supreme Court has asked central government and National Disaster Management Authority to provide some kind of compensation to the families wherein the people have died because of COVID-19. Along with that, some kind of compensation for migrant workers. Okay, so from social justice, GS2 paper, this is very important aspect, the Supreme Court order regarding relief and compensation. So we will discuss from that aspect. Next, envisioning the post-pandemic smart city. So here the context of the article is how the smart city should be developed, or the urban development aspect, governance part, GS2 paper. What kind of smart cities we expect in a post-pandemic era, this is discussed here. So from that aspect we are going to take input here. Now, High Court gives a pat on back for stray dogs. Delhi High Court has given support to feeding the dogs by resident welfare associations in Delhi. This is important from ethics perspective also, because having empathy and compassion towards the animals, okay, prevention of cruelty towards animals, this is also part of ethics, okay, applied ethics we can say here, right, environmental ethics or wildlife ethics, this also is aspect of ethical aspects, ethical part. Okay, now moving on. In last academic year, only 22% schools had internet. Now this is the credible data from the government itself. It talks about how schools are equipped with online education. This is reflected here, the poor state of online education, especially the government schools. Okay, so this is very important facts or data we need to take input and write it in several part of our mains examination, be it GS2 paper or essay paper. Then deadly heat wave slams Canada, US. So from geography, GS1 part, climate change and all these aspects, the severe events that are happening because of climate change, environment aspect, GS3 paper, as well as those who are having geography optional, you need to be aware about such instances, extreme events that are happening in global stage. Now, specifically for prelims examination, Telugu states spar over water sharing. Telugu states, it is talking about Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So it is having the mention over the dams which are built across Krishna river, the power projects. Okay, so Srisailam Dam, or we can say Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, the location of these dams you should be aware about, which are the dams built across Krishna river. We will take input here from geography part. Lastly, some COVID-19 related developments at national and international stage and practice prelims MCQs on daily current affairs. Yes. So first article, relief and recompense. So the context of the article here is that recently Supreme Court asked central government to fix compensation for families of those who lost their kin to COVID-19 pandemic. Along with that, earlier the suo motu recognition by the Supreme Court regarding the food security of migrant workers, at the same time the data related to interstate migrant workers and those working in unorganized states or unorganized sector of the economy. So all this is the context of this article. Okay, so yes, first of all let us try to understand significance. You should be aware about that COVID-19 has severely or disproportionate impact on vulnerable sections of society. So migrant workers are one of them. you can say that because of lockdown during this pandemic, economic activities slowed down and these people were left without any income security or livelihood opportunities, and therefore this is a disproportionate impact as they do not have any kind of other sources of livelihood or income or even a lack of savings also. So, because of that there is severe impact on their life, their families who are dependent on them. Along with that, many people died because of COVID-19 infections during this pandemic last 1.5 years, and therefore a minimum compensation ex gratia relief that is required to be paid. This is how the Supreme Court has come up in the aid of these sections and reminded the government that it is their responsibility of government under social contract as a part of welfare state, right. So, in our constitution the ideals of welfare state are mentioned, and therefore social justice, a very important ideal under welfare state. So, therefore government has responsibility to protect the lives of the people, those families who are facing this disproportionate impact because of this pandemic, they should be provided certain kind of compensation relief. Therefore, the families of those who lost their kins, especially those poor households, they should be provided the compensation, sufficient compensation. Along with that, the migrant workers, let us try to understand that aspect, but before that, recently the arguments that were put forward by the government during this hearing in Supreme Court regarding ex gratia relief, the government had said that COVID-19 is not one-time disaster, rather it is continuous disaster, right. So, in one-time disaster one can understand the ex gratia relief to the kins of those who died during that disaster like floods, earthquake. However, in continuous disaster surely there is some kind of planning that is required for resource utilization, the prioritization of resource utilization that is required. So, yes, first government said that ex gratia relief cannot be given during the continuous such kind of disaster, but later on it changed its stand and said that it is not about the resources, it is not about the money or compensation, rather prioritization of resources in dealing with this pandemic. Okay, so this is how the stance given by the government. However, Supreme Court had said that this is not a foolproof sufficient argument, and therefore asks the government and NDMA, National Disaster Management Authority, to fix certain compensation for those families who have lost their kin to COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so this is how the present situation is there. Now, regarding the earlier order of Supreme Court regarding the unorganized workers or interstate migrant workers. So, Supreme Court took suo motu recognition of plight of migrant workers and those working in unorganized sector without any social security benefits, right. So, for them the Supreme Court has we can understand here there is need of comprehensive registration of all interstate and unorganized workers in the country. So, why there is need of such kind of, let us say, comprehensive registration for these workers? First thing you have to understand that at present there is need of appropriate data about these workers. There is no central level data available with central government or even the state governments about these workers working in unorganized sectors as well as interstate migrant workers. This is the problem. Why? Because the workers are not able to take the benefits of government schemes. When the enough data is available, the beneficiaries, their data is available, then the government can target the beneficiaries and deliver these benefits to these beneficiaries. That's why it is important to have the data about these workers. And now the Supreme Court has directed and given deadlines to the central and state government. First thing is that the kind of, let's say, initiative has been undertaken by the central and state government to collect this data. Now deadline for this is 31st December 2021, last day of this year. This is the deadline and the process has to be completed by this date by both central and state government. Along with that, the registration, the portal, registration portal for these workers by Labour Ministry is to be operationalized by 31st July 2021, by the end of this month, right. So these deadlines are given by Supreme Court to central government, state government and different ministries. So that's why now it is the responsibility of the government to have such data collected, registration of these workers, and then finally whatever the schemes and policies are devised by the government towards these workers, their benefits can be reaching to the beneficiaries, right. So two important sections of vulnerable sections of society. First is migrant workers and second is that those families who have lost their kin to COVID-19 pandemic, especially the poor households, right. So for them the relief regarding compensation to these families, at the same time some kind of social security to the migrant workers. Just now we talked about earlier regarding food security. Supreme Court has directed state governments to ensure food security of all workers, migrant workers, and therefore this first aspect regarding social security, the other aspects further the benefits will be provided once the data is collected. Fine? Okay. Now moving on to next article, envisioning the post-pandemic smart city. Now we can understand already UPSC has asked question on smart city mission. So we can expect such kind of question because urban development, very important aspect of governance in GS2 paper, polity and governance part, right, urban development. So in that smart city mission, this flagship initiative of central government, we have to understand the smart city meaning of smart city or features of smart city first. Basic feature, basic features of smart city. First we have to understand that use of technology, especially digital technology, use of sensors, so for different purposes, for let's say measurement of pollution, air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, or if we can say traffic control, different kind of lighting, energy use, energy optimization, energy efficiency. These sensors very important, they are let's say installed throughout the city for different purposes. Then efficient waste management, then collection of data by various agencies. Collection of data, very important feature of smart city. Then we can understand the efficient connectivity, okay, and infrastructure. And smart cities includes smart homes or smart households. For example, whatever the lighting that is there at home, suppose it is not in use, there are sensors involved, and the person when enters into the room, then automatically the light is switched on. When the person leaves from that room, automatically every important electronic gadgets are switched off when they are in not use. Such kind of households are present in the, or promoted, we can say, in smart cities. These are the important basic features. Okay, energy optimization or energy efficiency, minimum impact on the environment, or we can say minimum carbon footprints. All these are important features of smart city. You should be aware about the basics here. Then we can talk about the problems in Indian cities now. You can understand what Indian cities are facing the problems. First of all, you can talk about congestion, you can talk about poor infrastructure, you can talk about inefficient and polluting transport. Third thing, you can talk about poor waste management and recovery from the waste. Fourth, you can talk about the pollution levels, right? All kind of pollution, air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, right? So this is also there. Along with that, you can also talk about in problems, the other problems in smart city. For example, yes, you have written the congestion, poor infrastructure is there, then overpopulation. This is also important feature, and therefore high population density, lack of affordable homes. All these are the problems we are facing, and yes, to some extent these are against the features of smart cities. We have to improve over them, right? So that's why now we have to understand in post-pandemic era. In post-pandemic era, now NDA government has come up with the smart city missions. Earlier there was two important initiatives which were there undertaken by UPA government. They were Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, JNURM, and along with that Amrit Mission. Okay, so now there is a smart city mission, and 100 smart cities are being developed, right? So in India, so post pandemic era, what kind of, let's say, renewed or change focus is required? That is health as priority area. Health as priority area in cities. We have seen how first wave as well as second wave of this pandemic has affected disproportionately in urban areas. Urban areas have been let's say largely affected more. The important cities, metropolitan cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, all they have been affected because of this pandemic. Therefore, health facilities. So in terms of infrastructure, health infrastructure, both we can talk about the preventive and curative health. It should be promoted. When we talk about preventive, you should be focusing on both, let's say, reducing the pollution levels, air pollution, water pollution, right? So many of these diseases which are happening because of pollution, they should be reduced. It reduces the burden on health infrastructure, and surely the curative aspect is already there. However, that should be also strengthened looking at the situation that we are facing during the pandemic. Okay, so this should be the priority. Along with that, when we have enough or sufficient data, then this data can be used by administration for efficient delivery of health services. Efficient delivery of health services, right? So all these aspects should take center stage when we are talking about post-pandemic smart cities. Along with that, the pedestrianization over motorization, this is actually advocated all over the world. Okay, so pedestrianization, that means we have seen in smart cities like Delhi, Pune, so other such smart cities, their focus is there on creating the cycling tracks or pedestrians path along the roadways, and the focus here is that reducing the motorization and focusing on pedestrian and cycling tracks. This is to some extent a positive aspect. However, this is not possible at present immediately in India or Indian cities. First thing, due to lack of sufficient land availability. Second, overpopulation. Okay, and third, you can talk about the poor state of transport sector. Connectivity and transport sector. Because of all these aspects, at present the focus cannot shift towards pedestrianization, right? So you should be aware about the challenges also. Now, what essential modernization required in Indian city in post-modern? So way forward. Just now we talked about the health sector, that should be given priority. First you can talk about that, health as priority. However, the other essential modernization, first you can talk about the pollution, air, land, noise, water pollution. Focus should be on this, reducing this. Then we can talk about deployment of sensors for various purposes. Fourth, collection of data, right? So that can be used for delivery of different services. Online, we can say services by the government also. Then you can focus on recovery from waste. Recovery from waste, a very important feature that should be focused here. That means efficient waste management, waste to energy plants. A new challenge has emerged in waste management, COVID-19 related chemical waste management, or we can say that biomedical waste, specific word, biomedical waste disposal. This has been the new challenge faced by Indian cities. So focus in future should be also on this aspect, right? So these are actually essential modernization that are required. Along with that, you talk about the connectivity and transport. So smart connectivity, smart transport. So here you can talk about multimodal transport, integrated transport and integrated connectivity. All these aspects should be mentioned when we talk about as a way forward. Fine. So try to take input from GS2 paper here. Now moving on, High Court gives a pat on back for stray dogs. So stray dogs, why Delhi High Court has taken this decision, directed every resident welfare association should form a guard and dog partnership in consultation with Delhi Police Dog Squad so that dogs can be trained to work as guard dogs and yet be friendly to the residents of colony. This is new initiative. Along with that, High Court said stray or street dogs have right to food and citizens have right to feed them, but exercising this right with care and caution should be taken to ensure that it does not impinge on the rights of others. Right. So, yes, empathetic and compassionate stand is taken by Delhi High Court. Compassion towards other living beings. Compassion towards other living beings, it is part of ethics, it is part of human values also. Along with that, you should be aware about one of the Gandhiji's quote here, that a country is known by or respected by how it treats its animals. Okay, so this is also important statement by Gandhiji. Compassion towards animal is very important. Along with that, it is our fundamental duty. Fundamental duty, Article 51A of Indian Constitution. It also talks about having compassion towards living creatures, all living creatures. It includes animals as well as plants and microorganisms. All these aspects are there. So, fundamental duty is also there. Along with that, we also have DPSP, which talks about protection to the environment and wildlife. Right. So, there is already Prevention of Cruelty Towards Animals Act, Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1961. Okay, so it focuses on how a different kind of, let's say, animals, be it in circus or other such establishment, are treated, whether they are treated with compassion, enough care is taken or not. This is being, let's say, undertaken, and the animals are protected under this act. Fine. So, you should be aware about the ethical aspects involved here. Fine. Now, moving on. In last academic year, only 22% schools had internet. Some important data, facts and reports. Government report is there, Unified District Information System for Education Plus, UDISE Plus report by the government. In academic year that ended with school closures due to COVID-19, only 22% schools in India had internet facilities, according to the report released by Education Ministry. Among the government school, less than 12% had internet, while less than 30% had functional computer facilities. This is how the data is collected from more than 15 lakh schools across the country. You should be mentioning this data, as this is authentic data released by the government itself. GS2 paper, governance part, education, HRD part, education is very important, and surely we are expecting question essay on online education. The focus has shifted towards online education now, and the sorry state of school online facilities, infrastructure in schools in India, this is reflected from this data. Fine? Okay. Now, moving on. Deadly heat wave slams Canada and US. The temperatures have crossed 48 degree, 49 degree in some of the places in US and Canada. You can see here British Columbia in Canada, which recorded 49.6 degrees Celsius temperature. The heat wave is declared. Many people have been also evacuated because of fire incidents. Now, in US, Washington recorded at least 16 deaths related to heat wave. Along with that, Seattle, Portland, many other cities broke all-time heat record with temperatures, some places reaching above 46 degree. You try to understand this, that US and Canada, it belongs to temperate region or subtropical and temperate region? Temperate region, that is beyond 23.5 north tropics. Such kind of extreme temperature events, weather events are happening. This is because of climate change. Heat wave and cold wave, this has become the common feature in the world during both summers and winters in last 5 years. So frequency of heat waves and cold wave has increased. You should mention such kind of instances, recent instances, whenever we are writing in environment section GS3 part or GS1 paper geography part, or even if there is essay topic. Also those who are having geography optional subject. Fine? Okay. Moving on. Specifically for prelims examination, Telugu states power over water sharing. This is actually the conflict between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh regarding the water sharing from different dams that are built across Krishna river. So you should be aware about which dams are built across Krishna river and which in which states they are located. Fine. So when Telangana and Andhra Pradesh was, let's say, bifurcated into two states, basically the Krishna river became the boundary for both states here, and these both dams, Sri Salem Dam and then later on Nagarjun Sagar Dam. So the power production from these and the water sharing from the reservoirs, this is on the equitable basis between these two states, right? So there is conflict going on between the two states regarding water sharing now. So that is not at present important for our examination. We will have follow up on that, but from geography aspect, which are the dams built across Krishna river, Kaveri river, Godavari river, Mahanadi river, important peninsular rivers, that is important. So here for Krishna river, Almaty Dam in Karnataka, Narayanpur Dam in Karnataka, Jurula, Sri Salem, Nagarjun Sagar, they are located across the border of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so you should be aware about this. Fine. Okay, so these are the dams. You can see the location: Krishna river, tributary Koyna in Maharashtra, and then Bhima river from Maharashtra enters into Karnataka, joins Krishna river. It moves like this from Karnataka, it enters like Tungabhadra is entering like this. Okay, so these are the tributaries of Krishna river, then it forms the border between these two states like this. Fine? Okay. Now, moving on to next, COVID-19 related developments. World Health Organization. World Health Organization said any COVID-19 vaccine it has authorized for emergency use should be recognized by countries as they open up their borders to inoculated travelers. This is good news. Which are the important, let's say, these vaccines have been given approval by WHO? Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, along with that 2 Chinese jabs, Sinovac and Sinopharm. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at present 6 have been given approval. Then in another news, 9 European countries have given recognition to the Covishield vaccine produced by SII in India. Which are these 9 countries? Austria, Germany, Slovenia, Greece, Ireland, Iceland, Spain and Estonia and Switzerland. Okay, so they have given the approval to this Covishield vaccine. Then Zydus Cadila said that it has applied for Drug Controller General of India seeking emergency use for ZyCoV-D, its plasmid DNA vaccine to counter COVID-19. It will be world's first plasmid DNA vaccine for COVID-19. At present, you can see that the Covaxin and Covishield, they are actually RNA vaccine. RNA vaccines. Okay, and this is going to be the plasmid DNA vaccine. For the first time this is going to be used So we'll understand its efficacy and whether it will be given or emergency use authorization or not by a regulator in coming future. Fine? Okay. So let us try to solve this MCQ. Yes, just now we looked into the dams which are built across Krishna river. So yes, Almaty dam, yes, it is built in Karnataka across Krishna river. Sri Sailam dam, Nagarjun Sagar, yes, they are also across the Krishna river. Mettur dam, this is not across Krishna river, rather it is across Kaveri river and located in Tamil Nadu. Just when it enters into Tamil Nadu from Karnataka, this Mettur dam, the reservoir that is created, it is called as Stanley Reservoir because of this Mettur dam, the Stanley Reservoir, okay, Tamil Nadu, Kaveri river. Fine, so this much information is sufficient. Answer should be D here because the question is asking not built across Krishna. Fine, okay. So yes, these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information regarding the foundation batch at Lukman IAS for 2022 examination, those students who are seeking to explore their career opportunities in civil services, for those students, the foundation batch at Lukman IAS is very apt course for 1 year preparation for prelims, mains as well as interview guidance. Fine. So for more information about this course, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.
Contact us to avail the combo offer of General Studies and Public Administration optional with 20% discount.